Hello, welcome. So, I'm really excited to be giving this live session today on mindset shift. It's a subject that's really close to my heart because I've been working on my mindset for, wow, years and years now. And it's something that I integrate into my work, into my personal life as well. And so, if you're joining now from wherever you are, welcome. I'm Samantha Amit. I'm an executive mindfulness coach. And today we're going to be speaking about mindset shift and building your foundation for your next promotion. So, what I'm seeing all over the world in over 40 countries is how everybody seems so busy. Busy is the new norm. Feeling pressurized is the new norm. And the question is that how you want to be? Because to reach your next promotion, in other words, to even be looked at, you can be busy, but you also want to be strategic. You want to have space in your calendar. You want to be able to manage yourself well. And at what expense are you being busy? So that's the question also. What is the cost of being busy, of being pressurized? So another thing I'm seeing as well is that we are all managing our energy. So we're managing the annoyance that we are experiencing. We're managing our frustration, our anxiety, our overwhelm. And again, this is very normal. So if you experience in a day irritation or overwhelm, just know, hey, that's absolutely normal. And the question is, how quickly are you going to be bouncing back? And having a mindset that serves you well is really important in that ability to bounce back quicker and just be centered, to be balanced, to be aligned, to be able to be focused. Because when we're frustrated, actually it affects our brain, it affects our prefrontal cortex of our brain. And so that's the main part of our executive functioning. And when we get really into the limbic system, where all our emotions take place and we have like a heightened reaction, it doesn't always do well for problem solving. It doesn't do well also for our relationships, and we're going to be speaking more about that. So another thing I'm seeing also is difficulty in delegating. So there are different reasons why it's difficult to delegate. Sometimes you don't have the manpower. In other words, you don't have the resources. Sometimes the people that you have are not skilled enough. Sometimes something that you need to deliver is, a high stakes project. And so you don't fully trust the people that you need to hand it over to. And so delegating is difficult. It's not something so easy to do. And in order to be promoted, in order to reach more senior levels, you need to more and more delegate stuff. And so you do need to take that risk and you need to nurture. Well, that's something that I do with my one-on-ones and the coaching that I do with managers. I help them to see how they can actually overcome all these problems. So back-to-back meetings as well. Ask yourself, am I in back-to-back meetings? So this is like basic stuff that I do, because you can't have a mindset shift if you are so busy in meetings and you have no time to even breathe and you're back to back. Another problem I'm seeing is time zones. Time zones. So all the senior managers that I'm working with, they all work across multiple time zones. What does that mean? They have one or more teams that are in different time zones. And so when you're working in different time zones, it's very, very difficult to, coordinate, to collaborate well. And so you really need a mindset shift around that as well. How can we connect better? How can we collaborate better? And I'm going to be showing you a model in a few minutes, just how to do that. So working with people, sometimes people are different to us. Again, if they're in different countries, some people are difficult. Some people have got low emotional intelligence or social intelligence. And so we have to adapt and we have to flex. And if we don't, it's not good for us, it's not good for the project, and it's not good for the business. So we have to meet people where they are, and we're going to be speaking about that as well. And then another thing is results. I get you. I'm with you. I know that you're under a lot of pressure to reach results. But let me tell you that you're in the right place, because we're here to get results. If you're here, if you're an ambitious high achiever, you're in the right place. If you want to be happy and you want to be calm, you're in the right place. If you want to be promoted or you're thinking about your career moving forward, you're in the right place. And we're going to be moving into now, in a few minutes, into the Mindful Act leadership model, which is all about acting and paying attention to our mindset. But first of all, if you've never met me before, hi there, I'm Samantha Amit. And what I do is I coach senior leaders and founders in 43 countries, probably more today. And I coach them with mindfulness-based skills and mindfulness-based ways of actually improving how you are, how you think, how you are in the moment, how you show up in meetings, your attitude. So it's your thinking, and then it's what's happening with your behavior and what impact are you making. So a fun fact about me is I'm also a meditation teacher. I wrote Mindfulness at Work because of my years of experience of teaching mindfulness within organizations. I also have 2 online mindfulness-based or conscious leadership programs, which help leaders, again, shift their mindset in order to have more influence and to have more impact. So let's jump into the model. So the Mindful Act leadership model has 3 pillars. Now, for those of you that can't see this on the screen, let me just tell you what we're seeing, okay? So what we're seeing is that there is a part which is called achieve. That's like a circle with one person in, that's you. How can you achieve more? And this is the one-on-one work that you do. It's you in your me working on yourself. A lot of people get stuck there. They can't move out of the me into the we, and it's all about me, and they don't actually even know how to be a team player. They're so busy being perfectionists. They're so busy being pleasers. And so they're not really yet moving into being, team players and in moving into what I call the thrive piece. So the A is the achieve. The C is connect better. So this is all of the acronym ACT, A-C-T. C is how can I connect better? How can I connect better with my direct reports, with my team? And the T is for thrive. It's how are we thriving in the ecosystem as thrive instead of surviving. And so what's important is this model I developed because as a senior leader, if you want to get promoted, you have to work on all these 3 levels. You can't work on one of them. You can't be working on yourself only. You can't only be working on your team. You have to be working diagonally, this way, that way, horizontally, vertically down, always. And so we need the model, and we need to understand the model because you need to hold it as well in your mindset during your day to see what's needed now in the moment. So I just want to give you an example of John, who is highly stressed because it's not good enough for him that he brings in 1.2 billion, his business. He's always focusing on the 10% that's not working. It's okay to focus on the 10% that's not working, but not all the time. You can just look at it. So, what is on your mind now? If you take a breath, breathe in and breathe out. What's top of mind for you right now? And how are you handling that? So the achieve piece is all about building our self-awareness. It's about noticing what you're doing. What are you thinking? And is this serving you? So again, we're now visiting the Mindful Act leadership model. ACT is an acronym. We're speaking about the achieve piece. The achieve piece is about me. And how do I show up? What's my self-awareness like? And it is key. It's key for you getting your next promotion. It's key for you having an impact, being influential, making inroads, and also navigating politics. So you have to be self-aware. So what am I doing and what am I thinking, and is it serving me? So now I want to move on to the next pillar. The next pillar is C, and it's all about your connection. So this is your team. This is your one-on-ones. This is your one-to-manys in your team. Basically, it's your relationships. What do you like at relationships? And this is where we want to start noticing what's going on and create that mindset shift so that we can see change. And what I want to actually invite you into the space is that, just having a 1-degree shift can make a radical difference. If you are flying on an airplane from, let's say you are flying from, let's say you are flying from the UK to, Norway, and you shift 1 degree, a 1-degree shift in that airplane is going to make you land up not in Norway. You can be sure of that. You're going to be landing somewhere else. So what we want to do with our mindset is we want to work incrementally, showing up day after day with intention to build that self-awareness, with that intention to pay attention to our relationships and what's working and what isn't. So let me give you an example of Dana. Dana received an email from a VP sales that was quite short and rude. She sent him an email. He obviously misunderstood it and he reacted. And so is this normal that you send somebody an email and they overreact? Well, yes, I can tell you it happens every day to so many senior leaders that I am coaching. And so it's important to notice that it's normal, because what actually happens is during the day, we are moving. So imagine an imaginary line, okay? So imagine that there's a line here. Now, above the line is where you are effective as a leader. Your mindset, you are mindful, you are conscious, you are aware, you're self-aware, you're socially aware. And so you behave effectively above the line. Below the line is when you are ineffective. When things happen to you that you triggered and you go into self-protecting mode, or you start avoiding people, or you get frustrated at people. And so what happened to Dana is that she knew this methodology. She was coaching with me. She knew this methodology. And so she knew that she had gone from being above the line to below the line. She knew she was ineffective. And so when we notice that, the moment we notice that, our power has come back. We're empowered because we can pause, we can have a checklist of multiple things that we can do to get our minds back into gear so that we can be effective again. Because when we are ineffective, when we go below the line, what happens is that actually affects our team, and it affects also other people, that whoever we're working with. If you are working at home, it's going to affect your family at home, because we're human beings, and there's something called emotional contagion. And actually, when our emotions plummet, when we are frustrated or irritated, and we take that into the next moment with somebody else, they're obviously going to feel that, because there's something that's backed by science that's called emotional contagion. So what I want to do now is I want to just take you again into how can you sense if you are ineffective and you've gone below the line. So terminology that I like to use with the Mindful Act leadership model, and again, we're in the connect piece with our relationships, is to notice if I've lost connection. So is there a disconnect? When I'm connected, I'm usually above the line. When I'm disconnected, okay, you can often feel it in your body. When you feel frustrated or irritated or overwhelmed, there's also something physiological that's going on. So I want to give you a tool as well from the Mindful Act model that's on my YouTube. And you're welcome to go into my YouTube, Samantha Amit, and you'll find it there. And it's the STOP exercise. So this is also an acronym. STOP is S-T-O-P, of course. So the S stands for stop and be still. And the T stands for take 3 breaths. So breathing in and breathing out. O is what are my options? And P is how do I want to proceed? And so whenever you notice that you're frustrated or you notice overwhelm, irritation, annoyance, any heightened emotion that you feel, you've gone below the line, you feel a disconnect, you feel something's off in your body, stop and be still. Take 3 breaths. What are your options and how can you proceed? So this is a exercise that you can access really very, very quickly in the moment, and it can really help you move out of that almost like amygdala attack, or just feeling like you are disconnected. You could be really, really frustrated and annoyed and not take it into the next meeting. So let's move on now to the next part of the model, which is about systems. So let me just stop a moment and ask how you are. If you've come in recently to the live, thank you so much for joining. If you want to just drop a comment with a question that you have, or give me any feedback of anything that I've said that's been helpful, please drop a note in the comments. I would love to read that from you. So what we're doing at the moment is we are visiting the Mindful ACT leadership model. ACT is an acronym, ACT, and it means you do need to do something. You can't be passive. So you do need to take the bull by the horns and do something. And so I'm now moving into the T, which is all about actually the we. It's a we mindset. And so if you find that you're suffering from taking risks, maybe you're not ready for the next promotion, because senior leaders have to navigate a lot. They need to be able to be working in cross teams. You are going to probably have people in multiple time zones, and that's difficult. I'm not going to put any fluff on it. It's not easy managing people in different countries. They're different to you. And the time zone problem. And it's not easy being virtual and being hybrid rather than meeting face to face. So a lot of people do find that more challenging. So the thrive piece is actually the ability to move out of the me into the we. And it's all about the many to many relationships, both internally and externally. So in the picture, for those of you that can see the picture on the screen at the moment, the green is the thrive piece. And so when you're not able to thrive, then basically you're surviving. And so hopefully you're in a company where the culture is not toxic. Hopefully that you have enough power where you can influence and you can get people together, get those connections going, and, make a difference. And so what we want to do in the thrive piece, it's the many to many relationships. We want to really be aware of them. And we want to be able to, bring people together, be able to use all 3 of those spheres for me to, first of all, manage myself and see that I'm connected. First of all, if I'm not connected, what do? I stop, take 3 breaths, check what's going on. I can scan my body. I can do multiple things. For some leaders that I coach, they like, let's say they're runners, or I coach somebody else that she was a dancer, or somebody that's into yoga. Do a yoga movement, shake your body out, but get out that negative energy before you move into your next moment. So what I want to do with you now, I want to practice with you. So it's time to do a mindfulness exercise, and I hope that you're open to this. If you're new to me and you've never experienced doing a mindfulness exercise, what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite you to close your eyes if you're able to close your eyes. So if you're not driving or you're not walking, then please do find a place to sit. You're going to close your eyes. We're going to do a mindset exercise. I did something similarly last week on the live last week, but a different exercise. So every week I'm going to be meeting you live, and I'm going to be doing another mindfulness exercise. In my coaching, I call it mindfulness inquiry. because it sounds a bit better, and it is an inquiry. It is actually our way for us to pause a moment and say, okay, what's going on up there? What's going on in my body? What are my feelings like? So let's do that now together. Now, if you are walking and you're on a walk, then just listen into me, and you can always listen to the replay and do the exercise later. So I'm going to invite you, if you can, to sit upright, not too stiff, and to close your eyes. And just say welcome in your name. So I'll say welcome in Sam. And I'm going to take 3 breaths, breathing in and breathing out. So breathing in and breathing out. Maybe feeling your feet on the ground. And just notice how your body's feeling right now. So you may want to do like a body scan, which is scanning from the top of your head, slowly all the way down to your feet. And while you do that, you can just breathe in and breathe out. So just scanning your body and taking 3 breaths, breathing in and breathing out. And maybe just noticing what your emotions are like right now and just labeling them. And maybe noticing what your thoughts are. And so we can sit here and breathe, breathing in and breathing out. And at the same time, just notice what our thinking's like with curiosity. And what I want to do is, because I'm just going to try an exercise with you now where we're going to scan. Today is Monday. And so we're going to go into scanning our week and noticing what meetings we have on during the week. And so breathing in and breathing out, I'm going to invite you to just explore your week. So coming back to the breath and just going for a journey with me throughout your week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Just slowly going through your week and popping into different meetings, and notice how you show up. And notice how you're connecting, or if you feel disconnected, maybe to the topic, maybe to somebody in the meeting. Just notice what's going on. And then as you go through your week, just noticing what meetings maybe aren't the best use of your time. Because as you move up in the corporate ladder, you're going to need some more time for strategy, and you're going to need some more space in your calendar. So let's just scan and see if there are any meetings that are less worth your while. Maybe somebody in your team can attend instead of you. So you're doing really well, and I'm wondering where you are and just where you are in your thinking. So just noticing where you are with curiosity, coming back to your breath, breathing in and breathing out. And let's ask your higher self if there's anything else. And let's just give thanks for any wisdom that you've received. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and come back to me. And I'm wondering what you discovered. Maybe you want to take a moment just to write down what you saw in that mindfulness inquiry. You can do it also after this, after you've been here with me. So let's just revisit the model. So what we looked at today is we looked at how we could be conscious of 3 different areas that need our attention. One is, how are we with ourselves? How do we show up for ourselves? What's our energy like? That's the achieve piece. And I like to think of it also as, how effective am I feeling? How effective am I versus ineffective? How productive do I feel versus maybe not productive? And so how happy do I feel versus how calm am I? And so, we want to start looking at different ways of how we can show up and what's that achieve piece like and how am I feeling today? And so that's the achieve piece. The C is, can I connect better? And that's my one-on-one relationships and my one-to-many relationships. So basically, it's how I am in my team and how I am in my one-on-ones. Maybe I want to shift something, create a mindset shift and shift something, and something will shift also in the room with one of my direct reports. And then the T piece, the T is for thrive. It's much more complicated. That's moving right out into the ecosystem, into the system, into a we mentality. So moving from the me to the we, and looking, how am I interacting internally and externally? How's my team doing? Because the more senior we are, it's not about how well we're doing, it's how well is our team doing. And so it's very, very important to spend a lot of time on that connection piece, on, empowering your team. If you've got somebody that's problematic in your team, you really need to find ways to figure out what are you going to do. And so the thrive piece is where you are interacting well, your team understands that they need to interact well and connect well cross-functionally, okay? And everybody's doing the best they can to do that. So we practiced, and now I want to ask you, what are you leaving today's session with? I'd love you to drop something in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. I'm curious around what particularly was helpful and what's one thing you're going to be doing this week. So maybe even take a pause now to think about what's one thing you're going to do this week that's going to support you to move your career forward. Maybe move your team forward. Maybe move the business forward. That's the thrive piece. So what would that be? Please share with me, and thank you so much for joining. I'm Samantha Amit. It's been an absolute pleasure to be with you. I'm here if you have any questions at all. If you want to move to the next level, please contact me, and I'd love to have a call with you and hear what's going on with you and see how I can guide you to reach your next level. Bye for now.